It's 6 o'clock, call meeting to order, please rise.
It's time to start.
Have an invocation from Linda, please.
Would you bow your head, please, while I pray? Lord, thank you for this day and this season that we celebrate you and your birth and the gifts that you give us when you came to earth. Lord, we thank you for your love and your kindness and your goodness. I pray, Lord, that you be with us tonight. I thank you for each person here and the offering they give to our district to help our children be successful. I pray that you would bless them in their efforts. I pray, Lord, that we would be focused on the work we have to do tonight, that we would be agreeable even when we don't agree, and that we would always keep the kids in mind as we make our decisions. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Show me the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. We're going to kind of skip around here tonight a little bit. We're going to go straight to the recognitions. Correct. 26 awards.
All right, so first up, Director of HR PR, Wendy Tho. Ready?
We have quite a few 226 awards tonight, but we have one group that kind of has some other obligations that we're going to recognize first. So our CHS and WBJH band directors, if y'all would join us up front.
So Mr. Kenny, you want to introduce him? Yeah, I'll introduce him.
Just some quick introductions. We have Jennifer Hackett, Kyle Key, Jared Hackett, and Dana Langen, our 4 band directors. We have to hurry up because they do have a band concert starting at 6:30 tonight. But I think Mr. Galloway was going to say some kind words about them.
These were my picks tonight. They may not know it. But, so if you graduated from Columbia High School, would you raise your hand? If you married somebody from Columbia High School, would you raise your hand? Anyway, so it's nice to have that hometown tie, and we want to acknowledge that. But you may not know, we had they're young, right? History in a position is one thing, but when you take over and you're young and you're finding your way and you have a lot of expectations, and so we just wanted to thank all 4 of you for what you've done at the junior high, 6th grade, and as well as the high school. So thank you so much. But the other piece of it, the thing that I'm proudest of, is that a lot of times when we're talking about, especially in today's political climate, when we're talking about public schools and the push for vouchers, sometimes we forget about what happens in the local public schools and why our community wants local public schools. Yeah. In our district, we have an expectation that was set a long time ago about performances that would be in. And so when we have a split community of school district, meaning Brazoria, West Columbia, Wild Peach, Columbia Lakes, sometimes there's a lot of events. I mean, there's a parade in Brazoria, there's a parade in West Columbia, sometimes 2. There's Veterans Day Parade, there's Brazoria County. It gets to be a lot at times, and so we have to make an effort to do that. But the thing that I wanted to acknowledge, that this year, for the Brazoria County Day Veterans Parade, the only band to show up and march in that parade was the Columbia Roughneck Marching Band. So,
With the plaque today, correct?
Yeah, they dropped this off just today for Columbia High School.
Outstanding. Awesome. So they also appreciate the fact that you were there and participated in that, so thank you.
I'm going to ask Miss Lucerio to join for the picture.
yeah, you bet.
Squeeze it. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks for watching.
Next one is also from Columbia High School. Mr. Gutierrez, if you would join us up front.
We'd also like to honor and appreciate Coach Stephen Gutierrez. Thank you. He actually started our first fall tennis this year, and 2 rounds deep in the playoffs?
No, we almost got this.
That's right. Almost. So thank you for getting that program started. We're looking at building new courts, trying to get that all going.
Before you leave, he was another one of my picks. For those of you that don't know Coach Gutierrez, many years ago, there used to be a place called Sweetbriar in West Columbia. Stephen worked there then, and as they were dealing with challenging adults, sometimes the adults were school age. And Stephen was the liaison for those kids coming to Columbia High School. And so Columbia High School's had a relationship probably about 2003, somewhere in there, with Stephen. When Sweetbriar no longer existed, Stephen actually became an employee of Columbia, Missouri Independent School District. At that time, he was an instructional paraprofessional, finished his education, and today's a certified teacher for us. So as far as I'm concerned, that's just one of those local ties with somebody done good. So Stephen, we appreciate all you do, all you've done. And as we said, 15 years ago this year, there were several different board members, but the board president at that time was a man by the name of Len Clement. And he really wanted us to start fall tennis, team tennis in them. And we've tried for 15 years to get it done. And this man got it done. So for that, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it.
All right, next from the junior high, Coach Lewis. Can you join us up front?
All right, so I have a lot to say about Coach Lewis because he is a big personality on our campus, so just bear with me for a second. Darius is a homegrown hometown roughneck and a graduate of Columbia High School of the class of 2009. After graduation, he continued his football career at a day He returned to Texas and completed his degree in kinesiology at Sam Houston State University. And after graduation, Coach Lewis embarked on a career at the Harris County Juvenile Justice Center before coming back to guide roustabouts and roughnecks, making a positive impact at West Brazos Junior High in the behavior classroom and on the field, court, and track. At first glance, Coach Lewis makes a big impression, but I can't express how much of an impact he makes daily at West Brazos Junior High. Although he can appear intimidating at times, he is the definition of restorative discipline and de-escalation. Here are a few examples of the ways Coach Lewis goes the extra mile. He literally goes the extra mile. When a student elopes, Lewis follows no matter the weather, rain or shine, the temperature, if he is slowly following, running behind, he can run, and even jumping in the truck, whatever it takes, he goes that extra mile. He's a role model for our student athletes and all students, preaching to them discipline, work ethic, and second chances. He's a voice of reason and has experience setting goals and reaching for them. He is connected to the community and often has intervened with students before it even gets reported something may be up. He cares about all students, no matter how difficult, and never gives up on them. I don't know how he finds the time, but in between teaching and coaching and family, Coach Lewis stays up on students' grades and behavior and checks in with them in the hallways and cafeteria, letting them know how much he cares and holding them accountable. He exhibits patience, kindness, and loyalty to all students and staff, even in the most heightened situations. I don't think anyone at West Brazos Junior High has ever seen Coach Lewis escalate or get upset. Well, unless it's in coaching. But we'll call that passion. Lewis can de-escalate frantic students, teachers, and parents with his patience, understanding, and big heart. You know he cares, and you know he will do whatever it takes to ensure support. He has been cussed out, bit, kicked, etc. And through it all, he holds an amazing bond and respect with his students. He loves them through their mistakes and continues to model patience and understanding. Lewis is someone you want on your team. The ultimate teammate that will celebrate in the good times, but go to battle in the hard times to achieve what is best for kids. When you look up, literally, and see him coming, there is a confidence in knowing you can persevere. And I can't stress enough that he is always there. Many locals refer to him as Heavy D. And let me tell you, he is a huge impact, a role model, and does whatever it takes. And the heavy doesn't describe his size, it's the size of his heart. So we're beyond grateful Coach Lewis chooses each day to be a roustabout. Thank you. You're good.
And also my family surprised me and came when she told me. That's my wife Angel. That's my son Zaire, the baby boy. My daughter Alea, and my oldest son Gary.
Let's get you. Take a picture with him.
Sure. Good job. Proud of you.
Thank you.
You're just waking up.
Thank y'all for being here. It's fantastic.
They surprised me. I didn't know they were
That's
coming.
fantastic, man.
Great.
She got some fleas. Thank y'all so much.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, then staying on that same path, WCE would like to recognize their two behavior room individuals, Ms. Gonzalez and Ms. Hoot, if y'all would join us up front.
Yes, we're on the same page tonight, because I also wanted to recognize these two ladies who work with our behavior students as well. As you might guess, working with behavior students is no easy job. It's a job that requires patience, genuine care and concern, incredible skill and technique, as well as a commitment to stay the course, even when sometimes the behaviors do not show improvement. Many students that need these services have some of the most severe needs, and they often come to us with a long history of trauma and all of the side effects that come with that trauma. But despite these challenges, I have two staff members who love these students unconditionally, never give up on them, who seek opportunities to celebrate their every success, and who go out of their way to create a positive school experience for them. Last week, I chose these ladies because I was completely overwhelmed with emotion by their care and concern for their students when I saw that they had placed 24 Christmas stockings in their classroom for each and every one of their behavior students. They also organized their own Christmas party for them next week, just for them. And at the end of the day, this is the kind of people that I want working with our kids. So please join me in recognizing the extraordinary services that these ladies are providing to our kids who desperately need people like them in their lives. Miss Letty Gonzalez and Miss Chelsea Hoot. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and our final 226 is actually going to two Columbia graduates, Cody Bowen and Peyton Cardwell. If y'all would join Miss Lambert up front.
All right. So good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Lambert. I'm one of the five ag science teachers here at Columbia High School, and it's my honor to introduce and recognize two outstanding FFA members tonight. But before I do that, I'd like to give you some stats. So in terms of the National FFA organization, there are 945,988 FFA members nationwide. These members are in 9,163 chapters that reside in all 50 states, plus Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Columbia-Brazoria FFA is home to 494 of those members. Our FFA membership is the highest in our FFA district out of 25 chapters, and of the 72 voting delegates that the Southwest District holds, the CBFFA chapter has 14 of those delegates. Now I would like to give you a few numbers to reflect on. The first is 1935. The Columbia-Brazoria FFA chapter was first chartered through the National FFA Organization on November 1st, 1935. Since then, thousands of students have joined our FFA chapter and have competed locally as well as at the district, state, and national levels. However, only a small number of members have achieved the feat we are recognizing tonight. The second number is 1992. 1992 was the last time that the Columbia-Brazoria FFA chapter had a member receive the honor we are recognizing tonight, showing just how difficult it is to receive. The last number that I'd like you to think about is 9. In the 88 years that CBISD has had an FFA chapter, only 9 of our FFA members have ever received this prestigious recognition, and the most recent 2 are here this evening. That recognition is the American FFA degree. As the highest degree achievable in the National FFA Organization, the American FFA degree shows an FFA member's dedication to his or her chapter and their state FFA association. It demonstrates the effort FFA members apply toward their supervised agricultural experience program and the outstanding leadership abilities and community involvement they exhibit through their FFA career. The American FFA degree is given to an FFA member the year after they graduated high school. They must have completed all of the following requirements to receive their degree. First, they must have received their state FFA degree. Next, they must have completed at least 3 years of agricultural science coursework and either be taking post-secondary coursework or have ag-related employment after high school. They must have graduated from high school at least 12 months prior to the national convention to which this degree is granted. They must have in operation a current, outstanding supervised agricultural experience program. Within their supervised ag experience program, they must have either earned at least $10,000 and productively invested at least $7,500, or earned and productively invested $2,000 and worked a minimum of 2,250 hours in excess of their scheduled class times. They also must have participated in at least 50 hours of community service within at least 3 different community service activities. Needless to say, the American FFA degree is not something easily attained. It takes hard work, determination, and a lot of patience. Out of almost 1 million FFA members nationwide, only 3,500 received their American degree this year in November. At this time, I'd like to recognize each member individually. First, we will start with Cody Bowen. Cody Bowen is currently a sophomore at Tarleton State University, majoring in construction science and management. And I was going to write all the rest of it down, but then I knew I'd miss something. So to give you a recap on Cody's years in FFA, specifically in the 5 years in high school and after graduation, he raised commercial heifer projects, market broiler projects, built ag mechanics projects, did ag science fair competitions, competed in leadership development, career development events, and for his community service project after graduation, he built brand new benches for his local church here in town. Our next recipient is Peyton Cardwell. Peyton is currently enrolled in the Process Technology program at Brazosport College. He will complete that program this summer. And during his 5 years as an FFA member, he raised breeding beef heifers, did ag mechanics projects, worked since he was 14 at Brazos Citrus. He was our practicum in ag student his senior year and ran our ag mechanics shop. And then after graduation, started what he called Cardwell Cattle Services, where he offered feeding program lessons and clipping and feeding help to local kids in our community. And so both of these members actually received their American FFA degree in November, but I definitely wanted to make sure that we recognize them here locally as well. Yes, over to the pleasure.
Great job, guys.
Thank y'all so much.
Good job. I used to get those. Congratulations. I know. That's awesome.
Good job.
It's pretty cool. No, I wait to come back to this thing. Go ahead and do it.
Now the 226 awards are over, we're going to go back to the way it was scheduled. We have our public hearing tonight on the 2028 first report, school first report.
Ms. Taylor, you ready?
Just apologize in advance, because it's not going to be as fun as that one. Okay. The primary goal of the first report is to improve the management of school districts' financial resources. And the primary objective of the rating system is to assess the quality of the financial management in Texas public schools. And what they do is they rate us on 20 areas. This year, it was only 17, 3 of them they stopped. So what I'll do is just go through on the areas they rated us. And one more time. We did, the scores are based from A's to F, giving you anywhere from 1 to 10 points or pass or fail. We scored the maximum point, 100 points, so we had a superior rating. And we'll go through the 20 indicators. The first one was, did we complete an annual financial report and submit the data within 30 days of our year end, and we did. The second is, did we have an unmodified opinion, which means that we didn't have any problems with the audit. Everything was clean and we got an unmodified opinion. 3, was the school district in compliance with the payment terms of all debt agreements at fiscal year end, and we made all our payments on time. 4, did the school district make timely payments to TRS, Texas Workforce Commission, IRS, and other government agencies, and we passed. Number 5, they didn't rate this indicator. 6 was the average change in fund balance over the 3 years, less than 25% decrease, or did the current year's assigned and unassigned fund balance exceed 75 days? And we did exceed that. Hold on, y'all, just 1 second, I wanted to check. Ours was, we actually had 125 days in reserve, which was number 7, was what was the number of days we had cash on hand in order to pay any operating expenses, and ours was 125 days. Indicator 8 was the measure of current assets to current liability ratio of a school district sufficient to cover short-term debt. We received the maximum point. Our current liabilities to current assets was 3.12. Number 9, did the school district's general fund revenues equal or exceed expenditures? And ours did, again, by 125 days. 10, they didn't evaluate this year. 11 was the ratio of long-term liabilities to total assets for the school district sufficient to support long-term solvency. And our ratio was 0.50, which was above normal. Number 12, what is the correlation between future debt requirements and the district's assessed property value? Our district's ratio was 1.95, which earned us 10 points. 13, was the school district's administrative cost ratio equal or less to the threshold ratio? And ours was 084, which earned us 10 points. 14, they didn't evaluate. 15, they didn't evaluate. 16, did our comparison to our PEMS data to like information in our audited financial, was there a variance of less than 3%, and ours was, there was no variance. Number 17, did the external independent auditors report, was it free of any instances of material weaknesses in internal controls over financial reporting and compliance? And we didn't have any internal weaknesses or material weaknesses in internal controls. 18, did the external independent auditors indicate the AFR was free of any instances of material noncompliance for grants, contracts, and laws? And we did not have any material noncompliance. So we earned 10 points. 19, did the school district post the required financial information on the website in accordance to the government code? And we did comply with that, so we earned 5 points. And finally, did the school board discuss the district's property values at a board meeting within 120 days of adopting the budget? And we did talk about that. And then we also, we listed, there's certain criteria we have to tell you all about what we spent on our board. And so if you go to the next page, this is what we spent. I remember that all of this information was from 2022, the year in 22, we're a year behind. And so this is the total we spent on conferences and meals. And then, did the superintendent receive any gifts or the board members more than $250? And no one did. And then business transactions between the school district and board members for, should be 2022, we did not, there was none. And then we attached the current year copy of the superintendent's contract, which is required. And that's it.
Good. Great job. Any questions or comments? If not, I will adjourn the public hearing and go back to our regular meeting. At this point, we'll look at approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Everybody's had a chance to read them. I'd entertain a motion and waive the reading of the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ray.
I'll second.
Second by Jackie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. And now campus communications.
Mr. Cody, who's up first? Wild Peach, Principal McCarthy.
Well, we've been having fun. So one of our projects is a family engagement, geography, and literacy activity called Gingerbread Travels the World. It's loosely based on the children's book Flat Stanley. The kids make a gingerbread man and then they send it out and about on its travels. Ideally, it would travel outside of Texas, but you know, some of the best spots are inside Texas, like the Angleton Courthouse, where it went to visit Miss Becky Danford, and Betel, where it went to visit one of the Betel employees. And the one in the middle, it went to visit the assistant superintendent in Caddo Mills ISD, who is the grandmother of one of our students. And she just thinks that project is the bee's knees. Our gingerbreads have gone to Okinawa, Japan, Toronto, Cozumel, Monterey, California, Indiana, Ohio, North Carolina, military bases. They've just been having a grand old time. And the letters that I get back from the parents, because the directions for the projects that go with the gingerbread say, take pictures, send a little bit of information to Ms. McCarthy, and I put it together in a PowerPoint, put maps, that's the geography component, send it out to the teachers to share with the kids, and they just think it's the coolest, and the families, the extended families that we've reached through this project just think it's amazing. And we've hit about 100 families, which is a third of our population. We had our annual family literacy night called Milk and Bookies. That's a play on cookies, books, you know, for literacy. The big guy Santa came. The Brazoria County Library came. They had a booth. HEB donated books because every Wild Peach child gets a brand new book. And the teachers created literacy stations, activities that promote letter and sound awareness, blending, all of the basic early reading. We had the most number of families we've ever had attend, 65 families, and families come with more than one person. Our school was packed. It was wonderful. Then we had our family engagement fitness activity called Reindeer Dash. And the children and families run or walk the track, and it's a whole ton of fun to see the parents run with their kids, to see the kids chase each other, to see the little brothers and little sisters get out there. And we had just shy of 100 families. Again, that's a third of our population come and participate. So we've had wonderful family engagement. And then this is always a special opportunity. Special children go visit with Santa. It's one of Mr. Galloway's pet projects. As he's told you before, taking a special child to visit Santa can be an embarrassment out in public when they scream and cry or act differently. But here, everybody's loved and welcome, and it's just an event that will melt your heart. And thank you to Mr. Galloway, Ms. Kelly, and the Brazoria Chamber of Commerce for allowing this to happen. And then I don't have pictures, but you know, Wild Peach is 80% economically disadvantaged, and we are fortunate to be able to provide Christmas to 95 families. That's including all of the children in the family, and usually these families have more than one. Thanks to the Natalie Woolsey Toy Drive, they granted us $6,000. The CBISD Board of Trustees graciously granted us $2,000. Ms. Hebner, another couple of $100. SMB Constructors adopted 15 families, and there were some other people that adopted families, and Toys for Tots chipped in. 95 families. Christmas, which is a complete set of clothes and shoes for kids plus toys. We love you guys. Thanks for helping us make it possible.
Nice job.
9 shopping baskets.
West Columbia Elementary, Principal Bolton.
I have several photos, but I'm going to go through them quickly. Just lots to share. Our first slide is just really sharing all the fun we've been having in the month of December with all of our dress-up days, getting some of that parent involvement going. The second slide is showing about how we like to spread the cheer with our staff as well by doing lots of things to keep them motivated and working hard through the month of December. And then the next slide is about a highlight video of some fun things that have been going on in our PE and music class. They have combined to do something that's called Drum Fit. It's something that they pull out once or twice a year where they're actually doing rhythms with the sticks on the balls and they're exercising at the same time. So it's kind of a combination of PE and music all together. It's actually a video. Will it play?
That's what I was trying to see if I can get it to play.
It's just a short little video.
I think since it moved it from slide over to
That's okay.
PowerPoint.
It's a very short video. They're just beating on their drums. But the next two slides also, we were also very grateful for the opportunity for our special needs students to be able to get to see Santa as well. The next slide is some more of our kids. Not everyone was able to go, but you can see that they loved it and they loved Santa as well. The next slide highlights the program that we've had return to West Columbia Elementary School, the Bloom Group. And they really work on self self-worth and confidence for our girls and help building their character. Mrs. Orr has voluntarily led this group, and they just concluded their first semester, and I just wanted to highlight that. I thought it was a wonderful thing to do for our young ladies. And the next slide is to highlight our CIS Fall Festival. ACE and CIS partnered together to throw a huge festival at our it was the same night as our last board meeting, and they had over 75 participants and families come and join that. They got connected with health services, and they did STEM activities as well. Many people were very impressed with the services that are available that they knew nothing about, so we were excited about connecting people with those resources. Another CIS-sponsored event was our canned food drive that we did in November. I was excited to report that we raised 600 food items for the food pantries in our area. And this is a picture of Miss Singletary's class. Her class won the prize of the most food items donated at 135. And to add to that, I was so excited because I was in HEB at the line one day, and I happened to see a boy and his mom in the line in front of me, and he was there buying canned goods for the food drive and telling his mom, "We have 75, and if we get 2 more," he was all this, and he turned around and he saw me behind me. He goes, "Oh, Miss Bolton, I didn't expect to see you here." And I was like, "Are you getting cans for the food drive?" And he was like, "Yes," and he was all excited. So that was, the highlight of my month. And I wanted to share that. And CIS currently is also sponsoring 75 families for Christmas as well in our area. So we're just very proud of the good things that are happening in West Columbia Elementary.
Yeah, thank you. West Brothers Junior High.
All right, there's a lot going on at the junior high right now, but I did want to highlight that our 8th graders got the opportunity to team up with Junior Achievement to attend the Aspire Career Day at Brazosport College, where they had a career fair set up for them, and they got to explore many different career opportunities hands-on. They brought in a lot of different local job opportunities, and the students were super excited about it, and the pizza was also a hit, but they came back talking about what they could do when they grow up and really, really inspired by that. Our coffee cart, which has been very popular on Fridays, gives back. So they took all of the fund, or some of the funds that they have been collecting after selling the coffee and cookies, and they made a field trip to Walmart and picked out gifts for a student from the Angel Tree at the CIS. And it was, we had some reservations on whether they were going to want to keep the gifts, and every single one of them were excited and talking about how much they were excited to give the gift. And so real life situations, real life skills happening there. We have won first place in the 8th grade boys tournaments, 8th grade girls tournament, and 7th grade girls tournaments in basketball. I believe 8th grade and girls and boys are undefeated at this point. So basketball has been pretty awesome at the junior high right now. And 6th graders are still working really hard. You see them out there on our awesome turf field, our practice field. They take them out as often as they can, and it is a very large number of pre-athletic students out there, so it's really impressive to watch them. Our student council officers attended the Texas Association of Student Councils Middle Level State Conference in San Marcos, which was really exciting. They came back with great ideas and are inspired to put those into place. And then student council teamed up with CIS as well. Roustabout's giving back 2 Roustabouts. They don't know the names, but they know they adopted fellow classmates to give back for Christmas, and so through their funds they purchased gifts for 24 fellow Roustabouts.
Oh, cool.
We had our Christmas band concert, and we also had regionals at band, and there are a whole lot of names, very small on there. They were very successful, and we had great participation there. And then the Christmas concert is always a fun and exciting time for our band students. Our teachers of the week were Coach May and Ms. Hobbs. We've only had 2 so far this month. We weren't able to do one last week, but they're working very hard. And then on the right, you see our classroom instruction is still carrying on. They are incorporating lots of hands-on things and engaging instruction that is centered around different holidays and things happening around the area. And I did want to point out in Coach Thomas's class, which is team leadership. There are a bunch of questions across the front. Each student stands up and they practice speaking in front of their peers and good audience behaviors, and they answer questions that are all over the place. They know the questions ahead of time. And every single one of our students stood up while I was in there, and then reported back that every single one of her students, even some who are very, very shy, stood up and had the confidence to speak for at least 2 minutes in front of their peers. So great things happening still in the classrooms.
Thank you.
Thank you. Columbia High School.
Okay, first, kind of an update on the construction. We're at that phase where it seems like nothing's getting done. Took the buildings down, all that excitement, now there's just a lot of earth moving and flattening out the pads. So they're getting a lot of work done, it's just one of those where it doesn't seem like it. So it's just a big open field right now, but it's a lot of prep work. So that's the update there. And then I wanted to highlight some student successes. We have our swim team, boys and girls. Despite the fact that there's only 3 girls on the swim team, they did bring 2nd place home from that meet. They're actually swimming again tonight in Lamar, so I'm excited to see what they do there. And we had 8 of our volleyball girls make academic all-state. So that's quite an accomplishment for those ladies. We had 2 of our softball players have a signing day the past month, so they were in here signing, and that was exciting to see their families come in and get to sign and make a big deal out of them choosing where they're going to continue their education and their playing career. The same last board meeting when Ms. Bolton just talked about her ACE Fall Fest, we had 14 of our students that participate in the Communities in School Standby Piece, which is a tutoring program. They went there and they actually did a presentation. It's a STEM Academy for the hazards of smoking and vaping, and then they just went around and helped out wherever they could help out. So it was nice to see the 14 of our students going and giving back to the younger kids. Cheer went to a pre-UIL competition to kind of get ready. There were 54 teams, 11 of them were school teams that were doing the same kind of idea, let's get in there and get some competition before we go to UIL. The rest were private teams, and our girls actually had the top overall score. They're all 54, so not just with the big schools, large schools, but overall they had the highest score. So we're very proud of them. And then we wanted to highlight our teacher of the month, Coach Bainey, whose the students said that she just brings fun and activity to the classroom and they enjoy learning in her classroom. She won our teacher of the month.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Barrow Elementary.
All right, so I kept ours short and sweet for you, but I do love, and I'll get to it, that every single one of us touched on communities and schools this month, which is something that thank y'all, because we've discussed that last year and the importance of communities and schools. So I want to touch on, I just think it's important, and I think it's just beautiful that it just worked out that we all highlighted them this month. So the students here, we have our Level Up Award. It is our character award that we give to the students. It's just the same award. We just changed the name to match our school theme. So the teachers pick 2 students from their classes that exhibit the character traits of the month. And they give the names to Miss Glover. Miss Glover goes around with her character card once a month, and she gives the students get to pick something from her cart. She's upgraded her cart treats to just pencils. Kids love Sminsels. They're pencils that smell. They're they're not cheap. They used to be able to buy them when I was in school for like 50 cents. They're pretty expensive now. But the students, they worked so hard for that, and they love to be selected by their teachers. Their peers celebrate them, and that is something that we encourage because it's something that we want the students to cheer each other on. It's important to encourage each other when their classmates are making good choices. So go into the next one. You should have a few other pictures. Yeah. December is one of our favorite times at Barrow because we do so much to give back to the community. That's something that we've been striving to do since we have been at Barrow. So the picture on the top left is some of our students. For 12 days, we give back and we sign up different committees, different grade levels, administrative team to ring the bell at Salvation Army. I said communities and schools because we have been working with communities and schools partnership, and communities and schools has signed up for a day to help join us ring the bell. And so they signed up a day to join us in ringing the bell, and they took students with them to ring the bell, students that attend communities and schools, the after school program. So it was wonderful. One of the other things that I don't have up here that I do include in my one pager is that our Communities and Schools has started Saturday programming once a month. They have had anywhere from 20 kids come to, we've had 10 kids come, so it just depends. This last Saturday, we opened it up to everybody. Anyone was able to come. And they just had to fill out the ACE program application that way. And the way we highlighted it this year, or this month, was families, it was get your last minute Christmas shopping in. It was a 4-hour time frame. So it was we kind of doubled it too, because it's our opportunity to get students who have not hit the 90% attendance mark, to get them to come. We work on schoolwork that maybe they have need to catch up on, but once the schoolwork is done, then they do get to enjoy fun activities. So they we watched the Santa Claus too, and then we made a snowflake ornament out of popsicle sticks, and we had popcorn and hot cocoa, and it was a great turnout. But that's all because Communities and Schools and the collaboration we've been able to have with them. They have been phenomenal in helping. The other thing that they have helped with this year is we had our family movie night last week on the 5th, and our family movie night is geared to families coming. We do sell concessions, but they helped Miss De La Rosa and our pals sell concession stand items, and the money that was raised goes to buying toys for Toys for Tots. And so families that come, they also are able to bring toys to put in the box, but then the money that we raise, we purchase more toys to donate to Toys for Tots. We had to take a truck this year and fill the bed of the truck to donate items, because it's just something that we've continued to do that our families look forward to in coming. So it's been wonderful, but Communities and Schools is partnering with us on the family events that we're having, and they're getting families to come and encouraging families to come, and then they're also helping to get different resources to come and help share with our families on these nights. So thank y'all for that. Thank y'all for continuing that partnership that we have with them. It's very important to our families, so thank y'all.
Great job tonight, all of you. Thanks, guys.
Very inspiring to see all that y'all giving back to the community. Pretty cool this year. Assuming nobody signed up for citizens to be heard. Okay. Brings us to reports. Maintenance report.
Mr. Williams.
All right. Well, piggyback off Mr. Kenny's update on the construction. Despite the few bad weather days that we've had recently, everything still seems to be on track and on schedule. At last board meeting we talked about, they had moved all the water lines with the exception of the main domestic water line and the fire line. This past weekend that has been moved. It was currently underneath the construction area, subject to more punctures. That has been moved outside the construction zone up next to the street. So moving forward, we should not have any more issues. God willing.
Was one of those that main line that ruptured several years ago? Is that?
Yes.
So we have a shut-off valve on it now?
We do now. We found the one at the highway because it was double fed from both ends of the facility. They have finally found the one at the highway. We've known where this one is, so now any time in the future if we have any problems, we know where to shut it off. Excuse me. Working with Apex on the Wild Peach project to try to nail down a timeline on that. We're still waiting from Straight Line to get engineered approval before they can give us a timeline. We'll just start. It's kind of hung up in bureaucracy, if you will. But we're still pushing for that. And we have got the new vehicles in. Thank you guys very much. We've already got stickers on them. Julie was real quick to go down and get the registration done on it. So they're officially on the road and working out of them. Thank you very much for that. That's going to help our progress tremendously.
We have a maintenance van man now.
Yeah, one with a van, one truck. So now we've got vehicles on the road instead of in the mechanic shop. So, a little quick response than prior.
Yeah, there you go.
Other than that, it's business as usual. We're just trying to gear up and get ready for the break, just to shut everything down so that everybody can go home and relax and not have to worry about anything that's going on up here. We're kind of pushing for that. Much needed break.
Any news on the baseball lights or any of that stuff, or still waiting, hearing back on that?
I've got 2 different contractors coming to take a look. One has already kind of took some preliminary measurements and measurements. That is E3, the same group that done the Wall Peach ceiling tile lighting project a couple summers ago. We've also got Musco lighting coming out. Tentatively, we're scheduled one day this week for them to come out and assess it. They can compile some pricing and proposals, and from there we'll hopefully soon have some ideas of which way we can go. Fence guys came and took a look at the battery view project, portion of the project. I'm sorry, I don't feel real good. Portion that we talked about last time, he's compiling his proposal and numbers on that, and hopefully that'll come back pretty quick as well.
Okay, good.
Other than that, it's business as usual.
Now, construction will still go on when school's out, correct?
Correct, with the exception of Christmas Day and New Year's.
Right. Okay. I just
They're trying to take advantage of all the good weather that we have.
Good deal. Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Safety and security report?
Short report this month, just a few things. So back in September, we had our annual audit of our district emergency operation manual. We got the results back today, and CBISD met all the criteria on our audit this year. So that's a good thing. Shatter resistant fill update. They started last week. They've completed the administration building, they've completed the high school, they've completed WCE, and they'll be, hopefully they'll be completed with the junior high tomorrow. The idea is they're gonna be done before the Christmas, or when we come back, all the campuses will be done. So, good group, SG out of Sugar Land, or out of Stafford, very professional. They've done a fantastic job of working around our kids, and money well spent, I think. Reunification drill. Mr. Kenny had the opportunity to conduct another reunification drill the other day. The campus was closed, but he took it a step further. Since he has the part down about getting them signed out and all that stuff, he threw in the transportation piece. So, Mr. Kenny, would you like to talk about that, or are you good?
Not just a quick rundown. We had 35 kids that were waiting for bus rides, so we went ahead and talked to Ray. We were able to get 2 buses, and I had 2 teachers with CDL volunteer to drive. And Ms. Halliday took 1 bus, I took the other bus as monitors, and we took them home, and we were able to kind of get an idea of some of these kids, where they come from, where they lay their head, and it was a good thing for us to see. It was just nice for us to spend some time with those kids in that setting.
Who drove the buses?
Coach Denbo and Coach Damon Lewis drove the buses. They were the 2 that volunteered to drive, so they really stepped up, and we appreciate them.
Yeah, that's real cool. Kudos to turning something bad into something productive.
Right.
I agree.
And then lastly, we did have our, the week we got back from Thanksgiving, we did have our fall safety and security committee meeting. Thank you, Mr. Champagne, for showing. If you haven't come, I encourage you to come just to see all the law enforcement and the public emergency response people from the county that show up to support our schools. It's a pretty neat thing.
If you think about it next time, could you shoot us a text to let us know, like,
Sure,
a day?
absolutely.
Because I meant to go and I didn't write it down.
It's April 24th. It's on your sheet right there. You want to see?
April 23rd, send us a text.
It's in your But yes, I'll send you a calendar drop.
What time is it?
Usually 4 to 5.
Is it here?
Yes, sir.
At the high school or here?
Right here, 14th, yeah. And this is impressive because there's probably 15 to 20 people that come, and say the city leaders and DPS.
You have DPS, you'll have constable here, you usually have a sheriff representative here, you have usually the mayor from Missouri is always here, police chiefs are here, fire departments are here.
Tell them about.
Steve Rose is always here.
Tell them about the suggestion that one of our local mayors had offered.
Oh, so one of the ideas that we're considering is changing the southern portion. Currently, in the years past, our reunification
locations for the southern part of the district has been Baptist Church, simply on the corner. But talking to the mayor, we're looking at moving that to First Assembly just based on the setup and off the main highway, better routing of traffic, extra facilities.
Biggest thing is getting off the highway.
Yeah, getting off the highway.
Or we could have 2 spots.
With road construction on the highway now, you have, especially right there by KC Hall, not ideal. So we're gonna be getting it down and getting that put together, so.
Construction workers are parking in the Casey's Park.
Yeah. That's all I have for this month. If you have any questions, Chief, you're,
real quick, you got my report. We had 4 reports last month, 1 arrest. The K-9 came in last month at the high school parking lots and junior high. Nothing significant was found. You guys have any questions for me?
Good with me?
Next is an instructional update.
Sam, you have anything?
The only thing is we have our district improvement plans and campus improvement plans that we sent to y'all. If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them.
So under instructional update, next month in January, you'll be receiving curriculum from secondary schools for West Brazos Junior High and Columbia High School as we move forward to get ready for registration in the spring for the 24-25 school years.
Financial report?
No, everything's good. We're 41% through the fiscal year and 38.5% of expenses at expense, so I think we're good.
Julie's also placed.
Yes, I did, the election.
Yeah, there's a 1-pager.
It's just a 1-pager. If we just posted it out front showing our election will be coming up. In May, we have, I think, position 1 and 2. But for election. And so next month, we'll have the resolutions that hold the elections and get the package ready for people who want to. We're fine.
Filing dates start January 17th through February 16th. Okay.
Yes.
Good deal. District campus plans.
So linked in board book is the district improvement plan and then also the campus improvement plans for each campus. Again, those are just provided as more or less just regulations.
Anybody have any questions or comments on those? All right, bond 22 report.
All right, moving quite along, even though Mr. Kinney said it looks like not a whole lot's being done, there's a lot of concrete in the ground. As you can see, the piers being drilled. And so every once in a while, this building, I don't know if the high school's shaking still, but you know, that drill's not small. I think it shakes the ground more pulling it out than it does.
It's when they clean it.
Yeah, exactly. It's something else. But I think today in our construction meeting, we're somewhere around a little over 1/3 of the way done with concrete in the ground as far as the pier is concerned. And so, you know, that'd be nice because as soon as we get that done, then we get some plumbing and some foundation. And then some steel going up, so we're looking forward to that. Hopefully it's going pretty quick. We're rocking along pretty good on the planning. We've already set our orders for scoreboards and lockers for the athletic area, the dancing dolls and cheerleading area, lockers for our agricultural students. And then also for our coaching offices. So we're rocking along. The gym's gonna open a lot quicker than you expect it to. And of course, we're already at lead time limits on some of the stuff we need to get. So we're moving pretty quick. We're moving pretty quick. It's fun. Tomorrow, we're actually going to have what we're gonna call a branding meeting. We do have a lot of graphics that go into this facility as far as in the hallways, classrooms, the gym, painting the gym floor, library. So we have a lot of graphics, and so we're going to have a little branding meeting before. What'll happen is that PBK will bring their group in to help us with it, but we want to make sure we get what we want and not lead down the road to something. And so we're going to actually have a branding meeting, and the theme is, if you can remember, there were a lot of requests. Well, can we build the new with the old in mind? And so our job is to try to put history in our branding, but not be old. But there are things we can do, designs we can use, shapes, forms, lettering, numberings, and we're going to try to bring that back into our branding. And so looking forward to that conversation. So,
Sounds like a plan. All right. Next, we'll go to the action items. First is consider the purchase of new school buses.
Attached, you have a proposal from our Transportation Director, Ray Ornelas. I want to say the total here for 2 buses is $292,522. Those are for 2 buses. These are what he would call top of the line. This has everything that he, the mechanics and the drivers want. They're gasoline engines. That's different. We don't have any gasoline buses, but that's something they would like to try. Looking at the cost of a bus, where we have a diesel bus, the cost of maintenance and fuel, and then stretching that out over, say, 20 years, and then doing the gasoline bus as well. The gasoline bus actually averages out to be a lot less maintenance cost over that 20 years, even though you might replace an engine. But because the cost of that is extremely less than what the diesel would be. And so I'd like to do that. These buses actually have 3 air conditioning units. Our ones we have right now, front and back. This one has front, middle, back. This one actually has 2 heaters, where front and back, where the currently one's the one we have the heater in the middle. This actually has he calls it an air ride system, meaning the bus is going to be smooth and
Not beat the
drivers to death. When some of our roads just, I've been down County Road 25 lately, it's something else, right? But anyway, these are top of the line, and so Ray's submitting these as a request. And if I remember right, Chris, timeline's probably, they said January-ish?
January to March.
Yeah.
We get them then?
Yes.
That's what they're saying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I believe when I see it. Yeah.
No, I believe more March than January, but I mean.
Has he put, have we talked about a plan of how, are we going to try to do a couple a year? Are we going
So
to?
the plan is to do this, yes. And so the idea would be to move in this direction if we can.
Okay.
But fuel cost would be just crazy right now, right? If we could go in that direction. The other is they get about the same gas mileage, right? But one of the things, just filling up things like that. We're also looking at, we talked about a couple maybe different grant programs like the propane. If those come out, then we would focus on special needs or shorter route buses.
Right.
So the idea is hopefully we get this done and take advantage of anything that would come along for specific purposes.
Okay. Because right now we have, no buses that are currently not in?
We have the one.
Oh, that one that the
We
tree
have the
fell
one
on.
that tree fell on, so once that one comes back, so technically if we get these 2
That's a
in.
brand new bus.
Yeah, that's a brand new bus. It'd be like having 3, right? We've never really driven that bus.
Yeah.
Right. So, but again, all of the others are in working order and doing well, so we're actually in great position right now. Great
It'd
position.
be great if we got those new buses before March, because March, extracurricular season.
Yeah.
There's a lot of buses now.
And which one did he end up going with? Is it the Gorman or is it the Bluebird?
Bluebird. It's a Bluebird.
I didn't get a look at some sort. Yeah. Good. And it's funny because when we talked, you said he was going with gas. At the phone company, we have 2 gas bucket trucks and a diesel, and the diesel has gone out, and apparently the tank in the diesel is rusting, and we'll have to do a whole new fuel system.
Oh, wow.
That's not cheap.
And then talked to a couple others, Trey Tebony, and they're coming up there, and they've got rid of all their diesels. Everybody with has diesels is pretty much swapping them. Some the last few years in the bigger trucks, the diesels have been having a lot of problems with, is what I understand.
Yeah.
Well, and it's it's $1 difference per gallon.
Right now, yeah. It's been that way for a while.
Yeah, so, yeah.
One of the things that Ray really wants us to understand too is that we talked about the need for diesel mechanics. The need for a gas mechanic is a different question.
Right.
And then also the availability of parts and the turnaround on the repair.
Parts.
Yeah.
Engine.
Is
Even an oil change.
Yeah.
Oil change is a third of the cost on a gas motor versus a diesel motor.
Yeah.
So eventually, if we phase out, how many propane buses do we currently have?
8, I believe.
Yeah, it's in single digits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that would be my vote is, let's get these, when we start phasing stuff out, let's phase out the propane buses. That,
Yeah.
I mean, as long as Ray's in agreement with that, that 3 to 4 miles a gallon is, that is, so.
True. I agree with you saying, but I mean, if we have a gas bus with 300,000 miles and a propane with 75, we need to look at.
Understood on that.
I mean, because those are a lot newer buses than some of the olders we have. We can make that decision when we get closer to that, evaluate a lot better and look at maintenance records.
But we need these extra buses for the extracurricular activities, right? We're struggling on getting enough buses.
Yeah, definitely. But I was just curious because I saw on Facebook, over there, when you got theirs, it said they got a big grant for theirs.
We don't believe.
Okay, I was curious because I know we talked about it, Ray said he couldn't find anything out there, so, okay. Because I know y'all do a wonderful job finding any pennies that y'all can out there for us. I just shocked me when
It could be something where they got approved and you had a certain amount of time to.
Yeah, a couple of years
It could have
ago.
been one of those, but it's not available right now for us.
Okay. Well, there's no question, I'll make a motion, we approve. This will be coming out of the money we got back from the IRS.
So,
34,000 short.
Yeah, so what we're doing is that we took the money from the IRS and we're actually putting it in an account. And so this is being charged against that money, correct?
Okay. And then what we're short will come out of fund balance with the other.
Correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we approved whatever the amount was for the two buses.
$292,522.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Next is to consider the purchase of white fleet vehicles for maintenance department.
Okay, these were purchased, if we remember we talked, it was actually through a buy board contract. We don't really have to bring it to approval, but we, our rule is anything $50,000 has to be put at the board level. But so just in transparency, we want to make sure we bring these to you so that you can approve this.
Okay. Well, I don't think we should, I think we should send them back. Says he's not going to shoot. Yeah. I make a motion, we approve whatever it was for the two white vehicles.
I'll second it.
Second by Becky, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I think it's great, both of those are great for our transportation.
I'll tell you what, our people, we learned a long time ago buying our maintenance crew, our custodians, our maintenance crews, our transportation staff, technology, they all do great jobs, but one of the keys is buying them tools that are nice to work with, right, that help you do a good job. And since we've done that, we've seen great retention in our employees, and like I said, you can drive by anytime, and our guys are just, sometimes, I still remember Mr. Champagne driving by and saying, hey, can you get the grounds guy off the mower? Because it's like thunderstorm right now. And they're just so happy and work hard. And sometimes we got to remind them, hey, take a break, And it's just nice to be in that environment, but it all comes with the financial support that they get from us for the tools that they need. So thank you so much for that.
Deal. Next is approve the 23-24 district instructional calendar.
Right, I put in your information, and in your folder, you actually have a copy of the district calendar and what we're asking to do. The first thing that I had asked you about was, if you go back to many years ago, what we talked about becomes the CBISD calendar. One of the things that we don't put on the calendar is early releases, and we make those decisions based on need at the time. The staff has requested that we have an early release on Thursday, December 14th. We would be doing a 1:30 secondary and 2:30 elementary, so it's like an hour and a half early release. Then if you come to Friday, February 2nd, we normally host the our junior high and elementary district, when I say district, other participating schools, competitive district, UIL grades 2 through 8 academic competition. Due to construction this year at the high school where we hosted, we just don't have the room anywhere else. Last year we had, 939 kids on campus plus adults.
Yes.
That was a massive undertaking, and our staff does such a fantastic job. This year, Needle is offered to host the main competition, but what we will be doing is the speaking events competition. So that means we're going to have about 35 kids on campus plus adults. Right now, I think we're scheduled, Roxana, maybe to do it at WCE. So that's kind of what we're thinking. And so as soon as we get back in January, we're going to get that taken care of. But what we would need is an early release on that day to start the 2 o'clock competition to be able to get that done. Then the last thing I wanted to ask you about, speaking of that old time CBISD calendar, one of the things that we used to do was always graduate on a Thursday night. And that was, at that time, the community loved it because people that lived locally could go to a graduation on Thursday night, a graduation on Friday night, a graduation on Saturday night local. And anyway, with changes in leadership in districts, we kind of just got away from that. But long story short, Sweeney Superintendent and I have had some great conversations, and we were actually talking about this because we've both actually had some community members ask us about it. And so sitting down looking at it, there's no reason that we couldn't go back to that. It would actually help us as far as our graduation sound, being able to get that nobody else, we would be conflicting with no other service. It would help us improve. Mr. Keeney and I met with Project Graduation staff, officers, and they wholeheartedly support this. So one of the things we would ask you to do is that we start this again, bring it forward, make the change on this year's calendar, and then in January, February, when we bring the new calendar for 24-25, we would also have that on that calendar as well.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, you're going into a holiday weekend.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's great having it on Thursday.
Used to do it.
Yeah. And we just got away from it. Just long story short, because breakdown in communication.
Now, Belfort hasn't been invited to do order invitations or anything yet, have they?
We talked about Project Grad, that none of that has been done. They just needed to make sure they had a place to have it that Thursday, and they've already made that change.
Okay. That would just be my only concern.
Yeah. That was one of the concerns we thought we need to meet with them and find out. And so,
yeah.
Any problems or anything? I make a motion, we make those 3 changes, the 2 other release dates, and moving graduation to Thursday, May 23rd.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
Thanks so much.
Just talking about the calendar, I was talking to my cousin that lives up in the Houston area. He said that they, just throwing it out there, they can take off the whole first week of January before they come back to school. They started a couple years ago, they found out that at Christmas, COVID usually happened. I don't know, we're having COVID anymore, I don't know how, have any reports, but so they were talking about that it seems that kids can go through that process and start and help their attendance or whatever.
Yeah, so years ago, if you look at this calendar, so if you look at, we're getting out on the 14th. There are some schools getting out on the 21st, and even some schools going to school on the 22nd. So most of those schools that do that, you can either have extra time in December, or you can have extra time in January. Years ago, the decision was, if they're going to have extra time, we were going to give the staff and the community extra time in December and not in January. That was the decision. Yeah, and you see that a lot in districts, even some locally do that.
I just know if like I say, I haven't heard very much this year about COVID in the school district or anything, but that ever started to flare up, it may be some option we look at to do something like it if other schools have pretty much come back early. So I just wanted to mention that because I never thought anything like that.
And so, and then one of the things that happens in our calendar, so, when this calendar actually had 8.6 extra school days in it. Right, so we used to have those conversations, we have to make it up. Well, our calendar, we've always had over 8 since, the last 7 years. We've always had over 8 days in the calendar, so that helps us do things that ever don't. Because a lot of districts go to school that 75,600 minutes, and they actually have to designate bad weather days on their calendar. Right, because before you can, I don't know, let's just say there was a flood and we missed 5 days, before you can request a waiver from the state, you actually have to use 2 full days of your own. Right, so you have to have bad weather days. We've put ourselves in a position where unless something really bad's happened, we're not gonna have to worry about any any favors when it comes to that. So that kind of builds into our schedule too. So meaning if we kind of have that in there that if we saw that, we could actually take. So if we went into a Christmas break and we got word that something's happened, we actually have the luxury of being able to add some days.
Okay.
To do this. So we could do that if something like that was to happen.
Okay, good. Next is the consent agenda, which is to approve the budget amendment and donations and approve extracurricular trip mileage rate. Anybody want either one of those pulled? Then I would make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Second by Linda, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those carried. Is there anything else we need for open? We will adjourn to closed session pursuant to the Texas Governmental Code, the Open Meeting Act, section 551.074, to consider the employment of professional personnel, discuss the resignation and retirement of professional personnel, discuss the performance of personnel, and to discuss the board self-evaluation recommendations. Reconvene open and consider actions on items discussed in closed session. Thank y'all so much.